This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. It is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after we chant the second quarter of the meditation classic, The Vast Space of Vajra Sattva. Now, I guess I should mention this. If you're going to chant with me, it's easiest on your vocal cords if you practice diaphragmatic breathing. And the easiest way to do that is for us to rest or touch the tip of our left thumb to its ring finger and touch the tip of our right thumb to its ring finger. Together. There was attachment and detachment, as in the middle way or button echo. My goodness. And pleasure and pain are basically the same. The Lord of Beings, Vajra Sattva, teaches. Aha. So Vajra Sattva is an archetype of simply noticing and relaxing. Vajra Sattva teaches desire, anger, and bewilderment also occur in the luminous mind modality, and the five sensuous pleasures ornament the spaciousness that is the field of reality. Simply by training in mindfulness and meditation, we discover the following: how desire, anger, and bewilderment naturally occur in our sphere of awareness and release. They are not an indictment, nor are the five sensuous pleasures some sort of an acquittal or exoneration. What we perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, or imagine is not a benefit or a harm. It simply is. The question is not what do we experience, but rather what do we do with that which we experience. And the ideal response would be to notice and relax in harmony with our breathing. The space and the concept of space are both unoriginated, so the concept itself is just like space, and in the detachment of duality's dedicated space, ultimate self-validating space emerges. Let us consider the folly of Anu Yoga or Tikle's energy work. Unthought sameness, pure being, like the moon's reflection in water, cannot be grasped. In the yoga display of Samantabandhana, it is revealed as the ulterior hidden vowels and consonants. As the adorning top behind her navel, as the adorning top, the pay behind her navel and at the top of her head, and as the eye and their complex elaborations in our chest. As a field of experience of the finite world, ulterior or secret Buddhist speech emerges. No, the field of Buddha experience cannot be found by actively seeking and striving, as sixfold sensory experience provides no object. To seek it is like a blind man reaching for the sky. So we just looked at 3 verses. 2 set the stage. The third one puts things in perspective. The first says, hey, there are people who teach us that it's really beneficial to contrive sensations of bliss in certain parts of our body. And the third verse, or the third passage, says, no, it's not. Let's continue. Let us explore the folly of Ngondro's preliminary practices. That path or purity reaching from height to height is at odds with this free from modality. Journeying on this pathless path, there is no destination as in boundless space. The path of enlightenment is eightfold. The dynamo is the final 2 folds of this path. I guess it would be helpful if I actually showed you a visual aid. So it is mindfulness and meditation, noticing and relaxing, that drives the eightfold path. Simply by authentically practicing mindfulness and meditation, the remaining 6 folds of the path take care of themselves. What if enlightenment was nothing more than mastery of the eightfold path, getting so good at it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively? The Buddha said it's possible to master this path in as little as 7 days. Because things are complete just as they are. In this moment of revelation lies this attainment. The essence of luminous mind is a universal source, and the entire reality is pure and simple. Yes. What is before and what is now? As empty suchness is the same intrinsical or natural vastness. So, what does that mean? Whatever we notice, whatever perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, or imaginings, we naturally and spontaneously and effortlessly and vulnerably notice are as non-graspable as a vast, empty void, like the illusion of the sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. Such is the Buddha modality, for empty suchness is its nature. So the here and now is the whole process, like the moon and its reflection at one. So there's nothing to modify in the here and now, whatever we experience, the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, or the grotesque. All of them are useful in the path of noticing and relaxing. yet being entirely the same. It cannot be seen by selective focus. Present pleasure and future pleasure are direct perception and its shadow. Such conceptual calculation is a mistake, do not trust it. So, in the present moment, when experiencing pleasure, we can sometimes anticipate the future. Our experience of the present can be relatively precise. Experience or anticipation of the future is as non-graspable as a shadow. Such conceptual calculation is a mistake, do not trust it. Past, present, and future are one without distinction. The past never arisen, the future never arising. Embraced by pure being, all is one, natural and exalted vastness. How are past, present, and future one? Simple. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever past we recall, whatever present we perceive, whatever future we anticipate, could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of emptiness. With timeless involvement in the threefold universe, ideas appear as illusory enchantment. Even the seat of the universal emperor is a place conditioned by illusion. Certitude does more harm than good. It's much more useful to say, instead of saying, this is how things are, it's more useful to say, this is how things seem right now at this moment. They might seem differently in an hour or a week or a year or a decade. Those whose lives were slaves of time never see an immediate outcome. If activity is fraught with hope, it can only be empty action. A slave of time, what does that mean? Well, there's time and there's timeless. What is timelessness? Timelessness is one of the many synonyms for emptiness. And so when we are slaves of noticing and never relax or release, it does much more harm than good. And that concludes our opening recitation. And now it's time for us to shift gears. Let us sit as comfortably and sustainably as possible. Let me check the time. It's 6:14. So perhaps, let's see, 6:14. So 6:55 minus 10 is 45. Minus 4 is 41. So let's call it approximately 2 sets of 20, health permitting. For our first 20 minutes, it might be useful to gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce at the top of our head. We do not do this to invoke a mystical experience, but just to help sustain the effort, sustain our bodies in the energetic task of sitting cross-legged upon the floor. Upon the tip of our left index finger, let us rest the lower knuckle of our right index finger. We do this for two reasons. Number one, to guide our energy to our crown, and number two, to help us keep track of our first collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations. Or in other words, approximately 15 minutes. 12 to 15 minutes. Let's rest our hands palms up in our lap. As we feel the air enter our nostrils, we could silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. As we feel air exit our nostrils, silently and mentally we could recite the verb relaxing. In addition to using our left index finger to support our right index knuckle, our first knuckle of our right index finger, we can touch the tip of our left thumb to the lower set of creases on its little finger. This helps us to keep track of our first set of 12 inhalations. To actually enumerate those inhalations, we use our right thumb. We could advance our right thumb every time we silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during our inhalation. Let us do this together right now. Now, typically we do this palms up in our lap. I'm just lifting my palms up so you can follow along, if you wish. Having run out of sets of creases, we now return to our left thumb and advance it to the next set of creases. And now you get the basic idea of how we can count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions approximately every 6 minutes or so. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. For I tend to check for questions about once every 6 minutes or so. To begin our second collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations, we can slide the tip of our left index finger up to the second knuckle of our right index finger. On second thought, let us use the tip of our left middle finger to support the lower knuckle of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. As we feel our chest swell with breath, silently and mentally we can recite the verb noticing. As we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, we can silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 and a half hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.